for you as the broker, like what is your recommendation for someone that's looking to start that journey?
To buy a business?
Yeah, not just to buy a business.
Or
start that process. So if someone is looking to do that, what is your preferred method for them to start, and then the accountability thereafter from a broker's point of view? Not take your buying hat off for a minute. From a broker's point of view, because then what I want Dean to do is, from his experiences from buying, is go, right, this is how I would do it as well. Because there's people out there that I no doubt have asked you, can you help me buy a business?
Oh, about that, yeah.
And you have to go, actually, I'm a broker, but I've also bought businesses. But you, like as you've just said, you go, do what you know.
Yeah.
So I would imagine it's different.
So my blueprint, just from anyone coming to me as a broker and how they present themselves, and especially if they're like a leverage buyer or they've got a normal job and they want to go into business ownership, I ask myself this question, and our vetting process, they sign the non-disclosure agreements and they actually have a half-hour call with me because I actually want to know the person, unless I already knew them and they sort of get past that bit. And I ask myself this question: are you bankable? And what I mean by that is, does your CV stack up to the industry relevance? Have you either got senior management or previous business ownership experience to have that business nous and intellect to actually run any business? Or have you got that specific niche industry experience where you just literally go step up into that ownership level? And then...
Can that be taught?
Yeah, well...
By course?
No, I'd say it can't be taught, but it can be learned.
Yeah,
I don't think you can buy a course and... I know how to run a business, because you've got to learn the hard ways. You've got to have arguments, you've got to be sued, you've got to have employee disputes, you've got to win contracts, you've got to move premises with a week's notice. There's lessons in business you'll never learn from a course.
So what I would challenge them is a course worth it?
Obviously, it depends on course.
Any?
I think education is good, but I call them... some people have mental masturbation over videos, content, courses, and you've actually got to go out and do it. Yeah. Like, you've got to put it into practice to see if it actually works for what you're doing, And I follow creators like Alex Hormozy or James Sinclair and a few others like Piers Linney and Chris Donnelly. I think they're cool and interesting, and I actually look at what they're actually doing rather than what they're actually saying. Because a lot of the time they're presenting something and they're presenting their theory and stuff, but you should actually watch what they do and study that part, I think. Like Grant Cardone, he's probably a bullshit merchant, for all I know. I don't know him too well.
He said that we were having a conversation on the way down.
He probably is a bullshit merchant, but what you can't deny, he's one of the greatest marketeers of our times.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone knows him. Everyone knows about 10X. I've not even read 10X and they've done an event, never signed a course, but I know of him. I know his wife's name, his daughter's name, his business partner names, his wife's name.
Yeah.
I know exactly what services he offers, like the coaching to the health system. Everyone knows him.
Yeah.
So you can't deny he's one of the greatest marketeers of our time. Same way with Alex Hormozy, he does all this free content about business and talks about LTV and return on ad spend and how he does his funnel and sit-in rates people attending rates and how that converts overall, similar to actually what Action Coach practice and preach. But then in the actual back end, what he does is a lead generation campaign to get these private equity deals to become part of the acquisition private equity company. And he goes, oh wow, you do $1 billion in revenue with 3% margins, and we can probably tweak it to 4.5%. And because I'm really good and I've got the clout, let's do all deals. So he actually leverages his personal brand to get really good deals. And in fact, Daniel Priestley, he does exactly the same. In fact, some people don't know this, but Daniel Priestley is actually a Jeremy Harbour student.
What?
Yeah, some people don't actually know that. And whilst Daniel's great at startups and marketing and actually making good money, nothing to take away from him. In fact, I really like what he's got to say about a lot of things, especially business. There's always something in the back end that's really going on that's not... It's like cloaks and daggers, ain't it? Like for me, if I was constantly on podcasts, and not this one in particular, because obviously you guys are my mates, we're having a chin wag about stuff and whatnot. But, you know, really I want to find business owners worth between 1 million to 50 million who want a good, honest, quick service from me and sell their business the right way. And that's quite upfront. But then some people have like these systems and courses in the back end. Like if I clicked on Dean's profile, and it was like how to wear a kilt. Or how to start a plumbing business, or here's the fast track for a home services business, $4,000. And some people see maybe Dean on this pedestal because he does these podcasts or a big following, he's got a successful business now, and go, that's the shortcut, you know. And I kind of get the psychology behind it, and that's why people pay for Grant Cardone or Alex Hormozy. Just going on that point, I don't know if you guys watched his book launch recently. He done a new book launch, $100 million money. He made $107 million in 24 hours for a book launch. And listen, studying it was brilliant because he's selling all these books, millions and millions of the just single books. Then he brought out these secret 20 books, all the playbooks, and AI Hormozy. If you pay $4,500, mate, I was actually on the checkout page. I nearly did it. And I thought, if I tell my missus I bought this $4,500, she's going to kick the living crap out of me. Yeah. You know, but I can see why. I do look at business like a game, and I think buying a business MMA as such is like level 4 or 5. You know, level 1 is hustling, get more than you get out, you know, get customers and working that Ferris wheel or hamster wheel as such. Level 2 is you employing people, you're renting premises, you're managing cash flow properly, even though you probably might not be. And then level 3 is like, you know, getting blue chip customers, being a subcontractor for a bigger firm in your industry, and you know, having monthly recurring revenue or regular custom. And like level 4 or 5 might be buying a business. You know, and some people do jump from level 1 to level 5, but they sometimes have a professional team around, like Dean did, for instance. You know, you had Graham around you and other people who were good, solid advisors and colleagues, and you know, had a good runway. And similar to me, like I know a lot of other business owners and people out there putting their neck on line every day, and I grew up around it. So to me, it was like, well, yeah, it's quite easy to make more money than you expend, and here's your monthly management accounts. And I knew all this stuff at 18, 20, you know, and that's just weird. You know, that's just a weird thing to do. It's definitely not an icebreaker in a dating. I'll tell you that for sure.
I really do like the concept of it. I started a business, I bought TMS at the same time as someone I know started a business. So I've got to see their side and my side. Yeah. So they've started at level 1. And then, as you said, I've jumped to level 5. Yeah. Now, we talk quite a lot and compare. And you talked about level 3 about managing cash flow. I got, because of the amount of debt, obviously, within the business buying it, I didn't know how important that was. I never ran a business. And it wasn't until Graham came in, he's like, whoa. Like, you need to learn how to manage that cash. So we set up this, we had GMT finances in, managing all the financial forecasting. But what I was doing was, I was obviously paying suppliers without a proper detailed breakdown and payment, like the sort of payment times. So then we got
payment runs.
Exactly.
So
then, exactly. So, and then that taught me really quickly that I cannot do that. So then I started thinking, right, okay, I need to learn quickly how to manage cash and cash flow, or this is going to go pear-shaped. So I learned all about that very quickly. I go back to this person started with, he's like, what's a cash flow forecast? What is that? Like, I had no idea. But then that winter would hit when the seasonal deficiency in his business, he'd be like, I don't have any money in here. I was like, it's because you haven't learned how to manage the cash. So
sorry, actually, can I ask you something, and you guys, do you guys do business plans?
Yes.
You do? Yeah. You write them down and you think year by year, month by month, or quarter by quarter, whatever you guys plan it. Do you actually write them down? And
so I mean, well, with...
No, I don't.
Do you not?
No, it's all in my head.
Right.
But I feel like plans change, times change, economic circumstances change. I feel like it's like Mike Tyson said, I think everyone's got a plan till they get punched.
I'm in agreement with you. So I'm a great believer in KPIs, OKRs, but this word goals gets chucked around too much. Have a goal. No, you shouldn't have an objective.
Should there be a vision?
You should have an objective that you aim to achieve, and you should set targets to hit that. Because having a fucking business plan, that's going to change. You will get put off course. That's a fact. Like, it's not going to go in a straight line.
Well,
from my experience.
Going on that point, 'cause I agree with you, Lewis, but to Dean and Pat, how many times your business plan gets revised because of the changes in your business? Or do they not change?
Not as often as you think, you know. So yeah, the milestones on the way to the goal, they can change daily, sometimes more frequently. But you have to have a heading for where you're going. Yeah. So you need to have an end destination, like what you're trying to achieve this year, what would make it a success. How you get there, that's going to change.
The journey might change.
Yeah, but where you're heading, that's, in my opinion, that has to be written down. Vision. Yeah, it's got to be.
So you have the objective written down, but then you have the KPIs to hit that. But yeah, so you're basing it on your vision. But let's say with the debt recovery business, which I told you what mine is.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a mid-table player. Like if we're basing it on football, I'm never going to get to where the big boys are. So I know. Basically, you know, I'm South End. We know who's going to buy it. There's no point even trying to compete with them because they're backed by big players. But I know that. Even when I bought it, I knew I was going to get bought out by it. And we're following a process. All with our offers, we're just following a process. So how do you create that plan?
Well, do you reverse engineer it? You say, this is what I want.
Yeah, well, it's always the way. Start with the end in sight. That's Graham's favourite phrase. It start with the end in sight and work backwards from there. Now, the methodology to get to there, that is going to be ever evolving. So, I mean, I use Trello for it because it's easy to move things about and change things. You know, it's not like this. It's not like some big vision board with a PDF all printed out. You know, it's a Trello board.
Yeah.
And
Asana.
Yeah, big fan of it. So that's how we do it. So you start with you have to think about. Obviously, we have a budget. So kind of our business, like the business plan for the year, revolves around the budget. Like we said, we're going to hit this. Right. So how? What are you going to do? Then you have to work back from there.
Yeah.
Is there a danger though? I say a danger of, because this has happened to me. If you've got that vision and you're so fixated on it, of you becoming so obsessed that you run it into the ground and you just stay in your lane and it causes a problem, you do start fucking a business up, basically. I've done it with property, with a property company. I've gone, right, I'm just doing that strategy, which was SA at the time, and I continued to grow and grow and grow, and it was the wrong thing to do at that moment in time.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is a risk. For me, I don't believe it is. I've got good people around me. You know, I've got people checking what I'm doing. I've got a mentor who checks up on me pretty regularly, every fortnight or so, and he sends checks, and he's not scared to tell me if I'm being an idiot.
Yeah, it's about who you have around you. You know? It's as lonely as it feels, it's always good to have visionaries around you as well. I feel like I am that in that business. I am the visionary. I'm the one that's coming with the ideas, but then I have Graham to come and check and go, right, okay, 19 out of them 20 are shit ideas, but one of them was an absolute banger. So we'll deviate to follow that.
Yeah.
So I think that's where it comes in really important to have that visionary and have that operational kind of head as well.
I was just thinking of this when Dean was talking. I've got another point to make about a course as well, but it's great building a big audience, but then if you've got nothing to not sell, even just monetize, even if it's just a quarterly meet up to talk about business at this event, you know, whatever it is. I'm not saying you have to sell your soul or trick people into buying stuff. It should be genuine and good value and transactional value for it. But probably where, like, I've never had a personal brand up until recently, but because of my business background, I would have known, like, let's say if I was your manager, I'd be like, Dean, go out all the money off this Scottish Highlands nature photography, or, you know, maybe anyway. But going back to the course question, something clicked in my head. Two things. One, I'm a qualified, certified business valuer, and I got that through a course. It was only £280 from the ACCA, 20 hours of home study, but that gives me, you know, a bit of credence when it comes to valuing businesses. And then I actually think about my career, the HGV and Falkers training schools. They were regulated courses. You have to do the HGV training and your Class C and C Plus C in order to drive them big Arctic or rigid lorries, or digger training, or, you know, CSCS cards, or I forgot the combi regulation, whatever they're called, combi gas, or I forgot what they're called now.
Gas safe,
yeah, or even is it Section 8 for electrician
Yeah.
stuff, like, and these are all regulated courses, even regulation around chimney sweeping courses. You know, good money to be a chimney sweeper if you get the work, but I think courses have a place, especially if they're regulated courses. Yeah, if they're HSC requirement, government required, like you can't be a solicitor without passing the bar exam, or you can't be a doctor without doing your F1, F2, and then junior doctorate and specialisms and whatnot. No, there's some things are unregulated, like business broker in the UK, but actually in America, depending on what states there is, it's a regulated profession, and you need to pass certain qualifications and have proper insurance and credit checks and whatnot to do that. So, yeah, it depends what it's for. It's kind of like the university argument.
Yeah, so my point on courses with inside the M&A space, if you've got someone that's looking to go into M&A, but they don't know what it is that they want to go into, it's a different question.
Yeah.
But if you've got Dean that's a plumber, for example, and they've got no qualifications prior to that, you go, well, first off, hold off going into this space first, get your qualification first, increase your income, get some more on-the-job experience, now we can look at buying a business.
I spoke to a really young chap called Daniel who went to Oxford University to study finance, and he done internships at JP Morgan and on their M&A desk, and I thought, fuck me, but your CV is cracking for what one day Vamos will be. And I was like, mate, you're going to go on to do great things. And he's only 18 or 20, whatever he was. And I was like, I'm just going to hold you down, mate. You know, I'm just going to make you do an admin job and say, need to do this, need to do that, and your brain and soul is going to get diminished from an actual 9 to 5. You need to go off and learn and start your businesses and buy businesses eventually. Like, you need to go off and live life, so to speak. Yeah, that's my point, to be fair. You know, I think it's case by case basis.
I really like that concept, the levels. Yeah. Levels, 100%.
Why don't we dissect them? Because that's what we're here for, is to dissect those levels to make people understand the complexities of each level.
Yeah.
Because I think people will understand what we've mentioned about the courses and they will go into those, but if we can dissect it, go into the complexities, the struggles, the pressures, how to solve things within each level, real life experiences that you're going through, that I'm going through, you're going through, and you, like the growth, what, again, at certain levels it's different to others. Have you grown too quickly? I know I fucking did. So there's level one. I
would just say on level one, right, either side hustle, full-time hustle, and you're starting out. I think it does depend where you're at. Yeah. At 18 years old, you've got no responsibilities and just got all that runway. But if you start at mid-40s and you've got 2 kids, a mortgage, and a whole responsibilities on your shoulders, that's really hard to make that transition. And I never understood it because I started so young. I had no responsibilities, you know. I was like, oh, as long as I make money to go out this weekend, I'm winning, you know. So
I think it's rare that you're going to have an 18-year-old, again, my opinion, that's going to stick to something for that long. It's rare. I didn't say impossible. I think it's rare that an 18-year-old in this day and age that will stick to something for that long and go through everything. Yeah. Because, again, it's my opinion, you've got to experience a lot of pain. Yeah. And they haven't been exposed to that level of pain that we have and that we would have gone through. And also, I don't think you've got the motivation from your family responsibilities. Yeah. So I need to provide for my daughter and my sons, I need to show them the way. Yeah. Where when I was 18, I was like, I just want to make some money. Just give me some money, you know. And I don't think, even now, I think every day I'm learning something new about entrepreneurship. I'm not never going to pretend to be no expert on the subject, but I think like, now I'm a father, I've gone through the rigmarole of startups, closures, buying, selling, liquidations, they've done it all, you know. I say all, but there's always something else, I'm sure. High court battles, employment tribunals, supplier disputes, getting big customers, national customers even. And you learn every day. You literally learn every day. I'm sure I'm going to learn something from today that I didn't know before. You know, it's just how life works. And I think if you... How did you deal with the pressure of that? Well, I definitely receded.
I definitely lost a bit of hair, and I've looked like this, like a 40-year-old bloke since I was 20. You know, so I don't know really. You kind of brush under the carpet until it fizzles up and bubbles to the surface, don't you? I think that's usually men in general about anything you go through life, unless you start dealing it head on and accepting that this might be an issue you need to solve and this is the pressure you need to face. But I think personally, you know, I was just burning candles at both ends and using things to escape the reality of the pressures, and whether that be gambling or going out a lot or whatever it was. But now, funny enough, Alfie Best, the billionaire gypsy as he refers to himself, I like Alfie a lot actually, he's a good guy, but he's got a great saying, right? Stress is like a rubber band. You're meant to be stretched and pulled and put under pressure. Yeah, that's a sign of a good entrepreneur if you could be. And I used to think, fuck me, I'm stressed, this is going wrong, or I'm sitting in the office all hours eating pizza at 8 p.m. doing nothing really. You're probably watching podcasts or something, you know. But I think Alfie's definition of that elastic band, being able to pull and get stretched and get stronger over time in theory, I mean, that's really how you should deal with pressure as a business owner. Because you're going to get tested, you're going to have trials and tribulations, you're going to have fucking stressful events. And if you just learn to accept that, it gets a bit easier.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's easy, but it gets easier.
How do you deal with it now?
Quite simple, really. I have my set times I work, enjoy my weekend, have a cup of tea at 7, you know, the missus and baby, and it's just, I think it's easy just to flick the switch. I think you can go from, this is business Charlie, this is home Charlie, you know, this is my personal life that I've got to cherish now and work at. I don't really get stressed anymore. You know, like, I think what does stress most business owners out is actually the business model. Mm-hmm. And I've always said to people, you could be a 10 out of 10 entrepreneur, but in a 2 out of 10 vehicle or business model. You know, so you can be bloody great. You can be great at sales, people, recruitment, managing, cash flow, all these different aspects that marketing that comes with being a business owner. But you could be in a really shit vehicle, you know. And nowadays, I'm in a great vehicle. I love what I do. It's got 99% gross profits. People love what I do. They kind of want or need what I do, and it's like a revolving wheel of happiness. Yeah, I'm getting paid well. I'm loving it. My clients are getting paid millions, you know, and it's there are problems, and as you know, Lucy was in recent negotiation, which we won't go into too much details about, but sometimes they don't happen as merrily and happy. But to me, it's better than anything that can happen in the non-business life-facing world. I'm not sitting there in Bethnal Green next to some crackheads asking for a bit of change, or, you know, getting chased down by a gang, you know, asking, where'd you get them trainers from, blood? You know, so there's a lot of things that are worse happening in life, or being in war. Mm-hmm. You know, just for a couple of examples to put out there. So business, I don't think it's that much pressurising, but that's because, one, I'm in a great business vehicle, 2, I love what I do, 3, in reality, compared to real life things, it ain't that bad. I set up Vamos to sell for 9 figures, 100 million in 7 years. That's the long-term goal. I put 7 years only because the first 2 years I went to watch my daughter grow up, you know, and I thought I can't go too mad, and who knows, blown up. But I know what being a business value and a broker, I know what numbers I need to hit in order to make that worth that valuation. I already know, similar to what Lewis said, I already know the bigger players in the market, so you kind of know where the end of the road is. And similar to what you said, Pat, the journey can sort of change and divert and different things happen. That's why I don't personally write an in-depth business plan, because I just feel like something's going to come along and hit me. But when I set up Vamos last November, I said I'm going to do this part-time. And then now I've already got a personal assistant, I've got another senior business broker, we've got all these clients, I'm working 8 hours a day again. So I feel like, you know, even the best plans do get changed, and that's what I mean about the business plan. I think it's good to have the headline goal. I ain't got specs, so I can't read that.
That was the plan.
Yeah, 5-year plan.
That is like a plan.
That is basically me, just back of a fag packet.
That is it, and then for anyone else that can see it, It is just a whiteboard.
It's like a mind
I've
map.
just gone.
Just
bang.
like a mind map, isn't it?
That is it.
Yeah.
That is it.
I wanted to ask you guys something as well, because Lewis mentioned about his service accommodation. He said SA, and SA does stand for other things,
Yeah.
just so it's not that SA. But service accommodation, it made me think actually, because I know, Dean, you've got your Airbnb up in Scotland.
Yeah.
I'd love to visit one day.
Yeah, of
I
course,
remember
absolutely.
seeing that last year, I think that's cool.
Yeah.
But coming from property related backgrounds, I noticed this with a lot of the business buying courses, there's a lot of ex-property people who've maybe done the Samuel Leeds, Rob Moore, buy to let, refurbish, refinance, repeat, that jazz, BRRR, or whatever it's called. And they think they know how to run a business. And I've been a landlord, commercial and residential, and I appreciate there's good money to be had in there. I just feel like you know fuck all about business or work or life. But yeah, I'm not saying everyone, because like you guys have done property and you guys know about your business. So, but I'm saying there's a lot of people who come from the property space who know fuck all about business.
You're absolutely right, because when I first started going to a lot of these like M&A, I don't come from the sort of major property side. I just have a house that I bought and a cabin that I own. So I was never massive into property. I wasn't doing the BRR, any of that.
Yeah.
So I jumped straight into, after having that, I just jumped straight into M&A. But when I was going to the sort of first kind of M&A groups and networking, everyone was like, yeah, I come from property. Like 80% came from property. And I felt like,
It's a lot.
well, okay, if I skipped a step here, should I be in property? Because I feel like I've skipped a whole step here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like that was the first kind of funnel sales system, wasn't it? The property, like buy property, is going to change your life. And then realising, okay, wait, I'm not a millionaire yet. What's next?
Yeah.
And then you're seeing, obviously, the business buying gurus on Instagram saying, right, okay, this is the next thing.
Oh.
There's one that I see, right, and I won't mention his name, but he bought one business.
Ken Mack.
So he's bought one business, and I think he bought it before he bought it after I did, and within a month
Paul.
I see.
Charlie don't give a fuck,
He
mate.
offered me out. I sent him my address. He still ain't came. I forget his second name.
Wilkinson, isn't it?
That's it.
It's Paul Wilkinson.
I
Yeah.
was a fucking idiot. He's done SA.
Yeah. So
He's a tool.
I was saying on his post, I was like, well, he says, I brought £1 million business, and this is how we did it with my mentor Ken, and da 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 da, in his squeaky little voice, and I said to him, well, actually, you've brought a business that's 250 grand roughly profit. Then you put the debt service on it, so actually you're earning about 120 grand. Then you got to split it with your mate Ken, so actually you're earning about 60 or 70 grand. You know, like, it doesn't make sense. So let's not sell a course that you've mastered this, or business, or MMA, and all this shit, because you're earning something that most people get in a normal job. You know, and you're actually probably making more money from selling courses than you are running that business. But let's not be a 3 out of 10 knowledge base and pretend you're an 8 out of 10 and tell people like someone like me who's been doing it 14 years that you know what you're talking about. I'm a useless cunt and all that. And we eventually getting back and forth. He offered me out. I said, he went, where's your address? I'll come to you Monday. I sent him my address. Obviously not my personal, my yard address, because I don't have to meet anyone for a scrap. Don't take that literal, sorry. no, but you know, I sent him that, and I went, yeah, come meet me, we can have a chat, whatever.
Except Pat.
Yeah. Pat's always behind me. And I make big legs, when I'm similar size, I'll just like, yeah.
Because Paul reached out to me saying, how did you fund the business? So I passed him over my broker as well. And then next minute, he's bought this business, and then within a month I'm seeing, I will show you how to buy a business. I would not have the audacity to turn around to someone and say, right, okay, give me a couple grand and I'll show you how to buy a business now.
It is a bit morally corrupt when they do it that quick turnaround. I've been doing it 14 years, I still ain't something. The thing is, you can trace all these gurus back to someone, an originator of the course. And I remember when I was 16, 18, whatever, searching buy business in Hornchurch or Essex or London, whatever, I'd see the Harbour Club appear on the adverts. I remember clicking on it and going, okay, these teach me how to buy business, that's cool. I'd clicked off it because, you know, that was it. I knew I'd go afford whatever he's going to offer. And listening to you, Lou, like I'm very much a broke mentality. Like, I'm not going to spend even £10 on it. I'm just not. That's just why I'm built, really. They all come from somewhere. Like, even Jonathan J was part of the Harbour community, and I don't know if he had training before, but you know, Dan Pena, he's quite an old classic person, or Carl Allen, who's British but operates in America. I actually quite like his stuff, to be fair. But and Cody Sanchez, who's quite a new crop. He's got a big personal brand, and I'm not against it. But similar to what you guys said earlier about getting professional help, you're making sure they're like the creme de la creme, proof in the pudding. And like, I've actually know a few Dan Pena students who've made millions on millions, like ridiculous amount of money. Like, I'm not just saying that. I know people have made it. Same way with Harbour students, 5D students. I know people have gone on these courses and made money, but they are usually the exception to the rule.
I don't know how people can, like this person that you're talking about, can go and claim to buy a business when he's partnered with someone, so he's not really bought a business. Let's be honest.
Yes and no. Like, it's just exaggerating the truth.
Yeah.
Borderline, potentially lying. I don't know, because I'm not inside and I don't know the finer details. But my problem was, like, you know, a year ago you was doing rent-to-rent courses. You bought this printing company. You said this is the headline figure. And yeah, I'm sure it did perform like that. But that's before you put the debt onto the company, split the ownership with your mentor, and let's just not chat shit. You know?
I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with buying a business and then trying to monetize it. But what I have got a problem with, if someone was to say, I'm now going to try and sell a course on that when I don't actually understand it myself.
There is an argument that if you're a 7 out of 10 knowledge base on a subject, you can teach everyone who's under that. Right, I still find that a bit fraudulent. Personally, I think you should be like really strong and expertise level to really deliver them courses. And I've got a saying where if I can't explain it to a school child, if I can't explain that subject that simplistic, I don't think you're an actual expert. I'm not saying that particular chap was on about, but you see a lot of people, like I see a lot of people doing property courses, and not like, you know, the Samuel Lees, Rob Moores of the world. I'm talking about people, they're students. I see, I don't know his name, I think it's Cody, he's a Welsh guy who used to had Samuel Leeds, and they've had a row, and now he's selling courses and all this.
Oh, the Welsh, yeah, I do know him.
Yeah, I've seen him.
Welsh fella, yeah.
Or this other guy who goes on his phone in his car, and he has these fake calls with apparently landlords, and the landlord goes, I want 12 months up front rent for your rent to rent. He's like, oh, I don't think that's the case there, bro. You know, we usually have a commercial letting business, do they? But mate, it's his mum on the phone, right? You know, you can see through it. But I think when you're young and naive and gullible, you're like, oh wow, this guy's really doing it, you know. And I think,
and that was me when I first started out with the business, man. I was totally naive until I actually dropped into the business. I was like, oh shit. Because that's what gives me the fear now. When anyone asks for my advice, especially with no business experience, I'm like, be very, very careful. One, be very careful of who's teaching you how to buy the business. What are they going to do after? Are they just going to leave you to it? Because if they're going to leave you to it, you need to get someone to advise you straight away. So if any other business that I'm going to go into after this, I now have the kind of foundations, but I'm still not ready yet. I'm still not an expert yet. So the next business I buy, of course I'll be getting somebody else to advise me. I'm going to keep doing that. But that's where it becomes, that's where I was naive to it. I paid for one of these small courses. That gave me the motivation to do it. Getting the business was easy. Like, that was the easiest part for me. I'm a plumber, so I knew that I wanted to buy a plumbing business. I put out a lead generation literally on Christmas Eve. I was like,
what did you do, the letters?
No, I went email outreach.
Okay.
So I dropped out 1,000 emails over the Christmas break, knowing that business owners would probably spend time with their family. When they come back to work at New Year, they'd be like, yeah, I'm done. I knew that, just psychologically, I knew they would be like, kind of spend time with family. And the response I got was mad. I had loads of business owners say, yeah, let's grab a chat. So I spoke to John and Martin, the previous owners of TM West. Literally, as I went back, I was sitting in the van on site, spoke to them, and like, listen, you know, they were asking me like plumbing questions as well. And we actually just shoot the shit.
And you spoke the lingo.
And I just said, look, I'm a young, and I said, I was up front, I was like, look, I'm a young guy, you know, I'm a foreman on a construction site, managing plumbers. I don't have any business experience, but I'm willing to step in with the owner for a year, you know, and learn what he's doing, learn about the business. And they're like, yeah, absolutely. And they had people approaching them to buy that didn't have any experience in plumbing.
Happens a lot.
Yeah, so I mean, but then I was lucky to have Graham, and also yourself. I'd phone you for advice, and Pat, and I'd had these people around me that have been in business a long time. If I never had that, I genuinely believe TM West wouldn't have lasted. Yeah. It wouldn't have, because I had no business experience. I was very, very fortunate, and I would like to think I was smart enough to realise that from like day one. Oh shit, like this is going to be difficult, and it has been.
What were the biggest lessons you learned?
Biggest lessons? You can't please everyone. That was like number one. I went in there like new boss, you know, like trying to please all the staff, and
I've done that.
yeah, it's like it does not work. It just gets thrown in your face. You need to be farming strict. Like, yeah, of course, you know, get on with your staff, but the people will soon take advantage of you very, very quickly. And I think the next time I buy a business, in the due diligence stage, I'd be paying close attention to the people in the business. That is like the culture and the people in the business is probably the first thing you should be looking at as well, alongside the financial state and the growth.
I'll ask you guys something then, because we're talking about courses and business. Just yes or no, would you guys ever sell a course on any subject?
I have.
What was it?
The serviced accommodation.
Oh, okay.
But it weren't a video course you get left. So like my 91 property portfolio, you got my entire business.
Yeah.
Like everything.
And all your black book, your connections, your
everything.
methodologies.
Like a lot. So what basically we're discussing now, basically everything I had, you got. And every single person that went through it, and it's a lot of people, was actually successful.
Why don't you do it anymore?
It don't give me any enjoyment. That's the truth. I could. People ask me for it.
Yeah,
I work with people, but I charge more.
Yeah.
So it took a lot of my time up.
So let's say you had 100 students, roughly.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, 1,000, 100. What happened to them after you decided, I'm done with this?
What, they went through the programme?
Yeah. Or was it just a course, not a community as such?
There was a community, but again, they're done. If you think of it as a personal trainer, I don't feel that you should be with me after a certain amount of time.
Sitting next to Dean, I feel like it's a before and after shot.
you shouldn't be with me, or you shouldn't feel like you should be with me for more than 3 months.
Yeah.
But you should have gathered enough knowledge.
To go off on your own.
That's the video part.
Yeah.
But the accountability part and everything else, you should be contacting me for. That's it.
Yeah.
You don't need me for anything else. Right, if you've got a problem with buying, contacts, anything, contact me. That's where I help you. But you shouldn't need me for anything else. Financing, lenders, for example.
I think you just said a key word, accountability. Because obviously when I went PTs, I kind of get them for accountability. I know how to train, used to be a professional athlete, and I understand the gym and nutrition and all that. And I feel like with courses around business property, whatever it is, I feel like there's not enough accountability, because especially these business buying courses, thousands of people that sign up to eventually, you know, like the Dealmakers Academy had over 1,000 students paying 10 grand a year, making good money, whatever. But there was no accountability. There was no individual coaches or mentors you can go to. The main guy wasn't keeping people accountable. And I think that's a good sign of a quality course or community and not. Because the accountability is like, we want you to be successful, you want to have a good case study out of you, we want to refer others because you was successful in this journey, where some people are like, cheers for 10 grand.
Yeah.
See you later.
That is exactly it. And the people that have left the reviews were surgeons. They were good jobs. They're doctors, and I haven't got the time. Well, then I'm not the right fit for you.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be the person that will sell that course. It's cheaper to go and do Rob Moore's or Samuel Leeds, or because you're going to get the knowledge, but the application has got to come from you. I cannot do this for you.
Yeah.
And now it's there. People want it. It's go and find it. But you've got to pay a massive fee, and it is a large fee. But you've still got to do the same work because you're taking up time. My time, when I can go and earn the same money by buying a business.
Would you ever do another course, having gone through that process?
Well, it's so much money in comparison to what people are willing to pay for. If you're talking about property, no. Because I can go and do BRR, short lease.
Even another subject matter, like outside property, set up your own debt recovery business,
I don't
run a business, whatever it may be.
No.
Me and Pat have been speaking about it recently, actually, because I was thinking, because I've been helping Pat out with the LinkedIn strategy, I quite enjoy gaining visibility. So I wouldn't mind actually being able to run a course and help people gain visibility, because, as I said, personal branding is very, very important.
The only thing that I would do and you can't really run a course around this, but it's a community. It's about people, like men, not people, it's men predominantly, what they've struggled with and the mindset around that. Mindset is such a shit word, and I hate the word. I'll be honest, I absolutely hate it. But it's the performance around that individual, why they are like they are, because men in business struggle. And not just business, but like you said earlier, you brushed a load of shit under the carpet. I did. I still went to work, or at Hanbury, where I had my foot fused. I think I've got to go in. I was fucking on morphine. I was on every single drug, but I had to go. I had so much control, the pressure that I was under during COVID. Didn't miss a fucking day.
But there's a lot of recovery going on in COVID. Because people shut
We
down.
couldn't visit, but I had to turn the taps on because you can imagine, automate everything. All the bailiffs are out. I've still got to pay them.
Yeah.
So, but I brushed so much under. The pressure was still on me. We've spoken about this at length. So many people feel that. You can't make a course out of that. But what you can do is get everyone together and say, this is how they feel.
Yeah.
But if you need help with selling your business, personal branding, operations, what I can do, this is how we can help.
I do feel like with mindset communities or man building character development communities, because there's no catchy headline like become a property millionaire no way down or buy a business no way down, it doesn't gain enough traction. And because most young men tend to sweep under the carpet, or they don't confront their emotions or their pressure or their problems, because you're just either chasing tail, or you're going out a lot, or you just brush under the carpet, or maybe you had a relationship with your father where it's not like, hugging, loving, so such and such for that. I think my old man's told me he's proud of me once in my life, and I always remember it. It was pissed in Paris. I'm really proud of you. I was like, fuck me, I've lived here nearly 30 years on the earth, and you just told me that. Which is great, don't get me wrong, but as a man, it's very different to being a woman, where like, oh, you're so pretty, you're amazing, I'm boosting you up, and all that jazz. And I think like it's a little bit of swallowing humble pie as a man, going, oh, Lewis, Pat Dean, I need your help. To actually ask for that help, I don't think men, I think that's why suicide rates are so high, because people don't reach out enough and say, actually, I need help. They might have that self-realisation that I need help, but they ain't going to say it.
They don't need to say it, and that's the beauty of it. That is why I do what I do, because if I package it up in a course, it's kind of making the stats, if you like, irrelevant. In my own head, it's like the mission is to go, right, how many people can we help? I don't have to step in your lane, or your lane, but that person, that man that's out there that's running a fucking completely different business might go, I need Dean's help.
True. I feel like you're about to announce a course.
No, but we can all read a balance sheet.
Yeah.
We can all help with that person's business. But you can call it a coach, you can call it a business coach, you can call it a fucking performance. It really is irrelevant. But if I say it's a course, we've all looked at courses, we've all got our own opinions on courses. But I think a community is a better way of looking at it, because that's how we've all grown a business, through the network that we've got. And that's why I would never look to monetize it through a course.
Yeah.
I look to monetize it through, if they've got a good business, I'll go, well, actually, how can we work together? I think that's the best way. Or consultations, like you.
So I've undenied about doing courses before, because a lot of people say, why don't you do a business buy course? You've done it for many years and all that. And then, obviously, I said this earlier in our chat, but obviously I went into 5D as a guest speaker or whatever, and I looked at the course, I looked through it all. I didn't read it all, to be honest with you, but I thought, this is so in-depth and so polished, I'm not even going to compete with this. And if I'm going to do something, I want to be the best. I'm quite competitive. Like, I think Vamos is now the best brokerage in the UK. Whether I'm just saying that or other people, it's different, but I genuinely believe that. And if I was going to sell a course, similar to what you guys said about the social proof and proof in the pudding, I'd want to be the best. I don't want to be a 7 out of 10 or a Paul who's a 2 out of 10, just done it last month. I want to be the best of the best. I want to be an absolute killer in that field. and I want to have results, and people have big success stories. And that's why I actually admire Dan Pena, because even though he talks a lot of angry shit, and he's an old fart, his students, I know some of his students personally now, and some of them have made hundreds of millions. You know, and that's proof in the pudding for me. I don't need a crazy old man in a Scottish castle telling me how great it is. I need these students who've made hundreds of millions tell me how great it is, you know. And it's weird actually, you can go from being a hater to a fan quite quickly, because when I first saw interactive with his content, I thought, cool, not my cup of tea. Like, he looks like a trade union boss the way he's talking. But then I followed his LinkedIn stuff, and I actually paid for his personal branding community course thing recently. And it was, I'm going to say this, mom's going to kill me, but it was like $6,000, whatever it was. And because he's the most followed person on LinkedIn, and I thought, actually, you are the creme de la creme.
Yeah.
You know, let's see what you got to say. And actually, my Miss Steffi going to kill me what I'm about to say, but I haven't actually done any of it.
Accountability.
You know,
Well, that improves our point, doesn't it?
where's your application, ain't it? You know,
there
the
you
ones
go.
for LinkedIn is, and
But
get better.
just
I ain't done
on
nothing with
that,
it.
just on that though, your LinkedIn has done better. Do you think you would have done it had he been in your corner and
Well-
phoning you up, keeping you accountable?
Yeah, like he added me on LinkedIn straight away, reached out to me saying if you need any help, and I really appreciate it because he's obviously a busy guy, runs tens of millions of pounds of businesses and all that. And I said for New Year's Day this year, I'm going to post every day. And you guys see my LinkedIn, I'm always talking some bollocks, as I like to say it. Some of it's helpful, some of it's just pointless really, or just comedy. And I was already on that trajectory, and as LinkedIn's been a great referral source for me, I've got some really cool and great clients from it. I thought, okay, he's the best at it, so let me learn from this guy. Even though I've not applied myself properly, I do know he's going to mess with me at the end of it, go, you didn't do anything I said. But every day there's a Zoom call at 4:00 with him or different coaches, and it's a proper community, and you may roast your post. He's got like the deal or no deal sessions, he's going to roast my post. And I've attended none of them. And I feel really bad because I've paid this money. But what I am going to do, now I've hired the staff to free me up a little bit from the day-to-day operations, I'm now going to in block, revise and learn and get it done. So hopefully you see a bit more better content from me going forward. Similar to, Dean and Pat have done. I've noticed you guys are your professionals photography. Dean's Instagram is like, you've got them curated videos and, their motivational videos or life lesson videos. I notice you're up in your games respectively on that. I remember actually when I first saw Pat's LinkedIn change and your LinkedIn change, I said, I think I even messaged Graham or one of you guys. I went, what the fuck's going on here? What are you up to? You're up to something. I don't know what, but I was like, you guys are up to something. And even though you guys are great operators and great businessmen, now people are seeing that part of it. They're taking maybe you guys more seriously. Opportunities open up. We was talking about earlier about these content creators, not what they say, but what they do. And I referenced James Sinclair, who's a local business owner here. He's bloody brilliant in my opinion, but I notice what he does more than what he says, and he has all this content game, and he says stuff, it makes me laugh. He goes, you make no money from coaching or seminars or content, but then he gets all these deals on his plate saying, buy my teddy bear company, buy my ice cream attraction, buy my party place, whatever it's, family entertainment centre. So I watch what they do, and same with Alex Hormozy, he does all this free content, but then on the back end, he's got all these private equity deals. I'm sure it's the same like Rob Moore. I'm sure there's a layer of it beyond what he actually puts out there. And it's how you do one thing, it's how you do everything. And just, it's good that you guys, everyone here has picked up their content going over the last year or two and whatnot, because I think there's great opportunities out there. I put on a post the other day taking the piss out of other business brokers saying, your business is worth 7 times EBITDA and all that crap they usually say. One of my biggest clients, who's paying me at least $250,000 roughly, he commented on that post saying, I've been burnt in the past, I might need your help. I didn't know his business, I didn't know him, didn't know anything about him, right? So I messaged him that day, I even showed my colleague all this the other day, but I messaged him that day and said, hello mate, how can I help you? Tell me more about your story. We got on the phone that day, And I deleted his comment, but by the time I got his details, I thought I'm going to delete your comment there because I know there's other brokers and wannabe brokers who scour my stuff and try and pinch stuff. And I don't mind, just don't pinch my clients. But I ring him up. He's got a business that makes $1.5 million a year profit in a really, really niche, cool industry around exhibitions. You know, before, like what Pat said earlier, I never believed in personal brand. I just thought, that's some pseudo bullshit. This is the new trend you're trying to push onto me, you know, just because you got your cheesy grin online. I just used to think it's bullshit, but in actual reality, it's quite prominent and quite important.
It'll get to a stage where it'll top trump majority of skill sets as well, because you could literally go out and learn anything for free these days.
Yeah.
You've got YouTube, you've now even got AI that can automate things for you. So the people that are really going to stand out is your leaders that have that personal brand and social skills. That's what's going to stand out. So while everyone's kind of doubling down on the AI, yeah, that's great, but it'll get to a stage where AI will be so automated, it'll do everything for you. Your knowledge, you can learn, as I said, you can learn anything. So if I wanted to go and learn financial side of business, I can go and sit on YouTube for hours and hours and then take that and learn it in the business. So, but what's really going to stand out is the people that are actually at the front of the face of the business. But then it comes at the cost. You can't always be the face of the business, because when you go to sell it, what happens to the price of that business, knowing that you walk away from it. But I do believe personal branding is what business owners should be doubling down on. Absolutely.
It's interesting you just mentioned you can't sell the business because of your personal brand, and obviously we talk about key man dependency quite a lot in business sales and valuation, and it's a tough one really, because your personal brand is a lead generation funnel for that business, but does the business stand on its own 2 feet? Does it have its other lead generation channels? Does it have a senior management team where you don't actually operate? Or are you just a pretty face who's got millions of followers who recommend your business to? And if it is that, the latter, then yes, your business is separate and sellable.
Absolutely.
But it's interesting, like Alex Hormozy, he never promoted any product until he got into school, because he knew it had the value to his audience. But he's got about 50 other businesses.
Yeah, you would never even put him as the face of school either, though, the way he kind of done it.
No, exactly. You know, he's
again, with me and Adept, I don't promote that one bit. And I've obviously got other businesses. But I wouldn't...
Shout out to Tilbury Hammond while we're here.
No, but I wouldn't do it because of the... I mean, it's what we spoke about. It's not a... You've got to be very careful what you put out there because of what it is. And 2, I'm not the face of what it is, because I already know who's buying it. So yeah, I think depending on your vehicle that you're in, you can absolutely build that personal brand and still sell it. But also you don't have to be, but it is important to build your own personal brand.
I mean, if you're building a personal brand, you can't be just doing it around your business. There needs to be, I work mine off core, these pillars. So it would be wealth, health, relationships, spiritual and career. So I talk about all them 5 things. So people are seeing different areas of my life and building that trust and authenticity through me. So they're seeing my family life, they're seeing when I talk about my wealth, they're seeing when I talk about my career, they're seeing when I talk about my health. So they're not just seeing one thing, they're seeing the whole of me.
I do think when you're starting out as an entrepreneur or business owner, you know, you're known as Dave the plumber or Mickey the carpet cleaner, and people in the local community know who you are eventually. And that's the whole point. Like when I was doing HGV training, it was like, Charlie owns the HGV school, and sometimes they put your name first instead of the company name first, like as that association. And I think as you go from level 1 to potentially 3 or 4, it's less about you, it's more about that business. And I think it does depend on the business model. Like if it was, you know, I'll use myself for example, Charlie the TikTok star, and all it is political business messages on a t-shirt with my face on, that business is linked directly to this person's brand, so there's no disassociation there. But then if it's Dean TM West is a standalone 100-year-old business. We might have a couple of customers from yourself, you know, but once they're happy with the service and the reputation and it's all gravy, they're a TM West customer and they're not or a Dean customer. So it does matter about the model.